Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you so much for joining me here. I hope you're having an amazing day. We're going to take a look here at Rose, see what's going on. Just help understand best practice, big picture, and try to anticipate what's going to happen next. It's looking very good though. I can tell you that much just from the outside looking in without a thorough analysis. Speaking of analysis, I've been doing this for quite some time. I hope you can learn something here today, of course. And learn and grow as a trader. My goal is to help you become just generally better. Teach you to fish for a lifetime instead of for one day. If that makes any sense. And the whole purpose is to get you where you need to go. So I've got a website if you want to check that out, CryptoCache.tech. Link in the description below. Let me know if you want to become a community member. It's really awesome experience. Like I send out signals for every single trade that I take so you know how to structure your trades. Trading academy, trading community. We all speak and learn and grow together. It's a fantastic experience. So if you want to work with me and the likes of some really awesome folks, got almost 300 members at this point, check it out. Link in the description below. Take a look here at Rose though. Here's the thing. Big picture with Rose, and let's go ahead and look at that first, is that we've got a pretty nice ascending type of pattern that was occurring. It just kept on shooting higher and higher. Kept making higher lows. Eventually that broke, of course, because we all know what happened January through March of this year. We had some pretty terrible Bitcoin behavior. Anyways, it reached its top as well, and it kind of came down. And Rose essentially found its bottom here, right at about 21 cents. So 21.5 is a close approximate, is really its ultimate lowest point in which it would go. That was no longer than what was March 15th was the lowest point. That's the lowest it went, right around 20 cents as a round number. Okay, so, excuse me, sorry, I'm getting over a cold too. You might hear me clear my throat a couple times. That being said, looking at $20 and, $20, oh, that'd be nice, right? 20 cents, looking at 20 cents here as the lowest point. Ever since then, we've seen the price increase from there. We have this ascending type of pattern forming, of course, and that's concurrent with this Fibonacci retracement level. Kind of has a natural bottom to top corner there, and we can kind of see here, generally speaking, and if you look at this here, we can actually correct that a little bit there. It's very close to essentially showing us that we've been tested once or twice. Okay, now very close. Again, candle wicks almost touched it, but generally speaking, you can see it's ascending upwards. So until this trend line breaks, we can assume that the price is going to continue to progress higher. Main reason why is because Bitcoin's on a similar path. Bitcoin is ascending upwards and essentially making higher lows, and in that case, Rose should continue to do the same. That being said, Bitcoin hasn't been necessarily, shooting super high. It's been kind of working itself in a channel for a little while, but generally speaking, the big picture, overall sentiment, it's making higher lows and higher highs, more so specifically on the weekly. That's what I'm referring to. That being said, though, the overall sentiment is that Bitcoin's going to progress higher. We should expect the same from Rose with that kind of mentality, right? And then also, if we see a lot of consolidation, a lot of sideways action here in between the range of about 26 to 29 cents. So you could basically be range trading and making a decent amount here with all these ups and downs. It's basically going up, and a day later it goes right back down. So it's obviously having trouble passing, just say round number 30 cents. 30 cents is a point of contention. Okay, so just keep that in mind. 30 cents is a difficult place for the price to break. It's also coincidentally one of those price points that I believe was tested a lot previously, if I'm not mistaken. I know we had a resistance level back here in December, but generally what we want to do here is kind of look at a few other factors. Let's look at the RSI and understand that we're not overextended or underextended. Essentially, we're right there on the right side of the tracks. We're above 50. That's the key. Bitcoin, again, has that similar quality. It's a great sign. We're also, in this case, currently, again, it's been breaking above and below. The 200-day simple moving average is kind of trending right where the price action is averaging out. So we take the average volume, we can see we got a lot of volume below the current price point, but also a decent amount just below. But for the most part, if you kind of look at this larger picture here, we got the most amount of volume accumulation at about 22 cents. I'm bringing that to your attention just so you know that once again, that's likely the bottom. We shouldn't experience anything lower than that. So the price were to pull back, heaven forbid, that should be essentially a stop loss, or essentially that should be the lowest point it'll go. That'll be a good dollar cost average target. Again, depending on the trade you're taking. So generally speaking, we're looking good there in that sense. But overall, we're kind of stuck here under 30 cents, and that's just kind of a point of contention. So I'd say until we can get Rose back above 30 cents, we're going to keep doing this here. Now, keep this in mind, though, that with this type of ascending pattern, so to speak, we have more of a likelihood of the price breaking to the upwards, to the upside, versus the downside. So just keep that in mind here. Rose is exuding some interesting behavior, But a lot of these corrections are just these knee-jerk reactions to when Bitcoin sells off. It looks very similar to Bitcoin's recent behavior. So please understand that. So Rose, by all means, is doing very well today. It's proven to be fairly synonymous with Bitcoin in a lot of ways. In fact, why don't we go and take a quick look at TD sequential? We're at a 4 on the 4 hour, so we got plenty of room for growth there. And then we just hit a 9 on the 1 hour. So hitting a 9 on the 1 hour does imply we could see a slight pullback if we were to. The next obvious to continue to maintain these higher lows is to put us right around 28 cents. So as long as the next low isn't lower than 28 cents, we're going to be in good shape to get our next leg up to break 30 cents. That should be what we need to get there. So all in all, looking really good there in that sense. And then of course we're above the cloud, back above the cloud, which is nice. Lagging span's free, and we got the conversion line above the baseline. So there's nothing adverse that I see here with Rose, even though we do have kind of a choppy 1-day chart. If you look at the smaller time frames, you can kind of see what's happening here. This makes perfect sense for Bitcoin's behavior recently. However, we've got a very strong push in the upward direction today with an increased amount of volume in the most recent 8 hours. That's a very, very good sign. So again, even though we could experience a slight pullback down to 28 cents, as long as 28 cents holds in this next retracement, we can and should be able to break, or at the very least, test 30 cents again, and then slowly continue to progress sideways and up. So to me, the way that I see it here is that it's an inevitability for 30 cents to be broken. It could happen, today or soon, but it will be likely within the next week. Okay, I know that seems kind of crazy. Actually, perhaps even 2 weeks as a worst case scenario if it continues to be very finicky. But it does look like it's building a strong amount of volume, a good base here, and even though it's ranging from 27 to 30, we still have a nice amount of volume, and of course this nice little push here today that's separating itself from Bitcoin, and that I think is a very good sign. So ultimately, Rose looks like it's ready to take off. I wouldn't say that I wouldn't expect it to break today, but I think we're going to be able to build a stable foundation here soon and get that going. Again, I think this trend line will hold. It definitely looks very good. So all in all, my money here is on Rose progressing higher. How much higher will it go? Well, let's look at that. Potentially, again, and this is potential, of course, because if you look at it, its amount of growth has grown about 47% from bottom to top in the last 2.5 weeks. Another 2.5 weeks from now, we could experience another 31% higher to hit a target of roughly 40 cents. So 40 cents could be a potential thing by March. Sorry, we're not going back in time. By May, we're going to just say hypothetically, May 1st, we could and should see somewhere in the range of 40 cents if this continues naturally to progress the same way that it has recently. Again, a lot of key words in there, right? If it does this, if it does that. So we got to keep a close eye on it. It's not just going to take off, but it's giving us signs that it wants to. Okay? So those are all good stuff. So the micro is looking very good. Macro doesn't look fantastic in that sense if you just look at last week, but I do think that the fact that it hasn't gone any lower is extremely important. And as long as Bitcoin can sustain 46,000, Rose will continue to increase. All right, so that's kind of what we're looking at there. I hope you found benefit and made sense of what I explained here today. I know I kind of jumped around, but if you're new to the channel, maybe watch some of my other videos, you should be able to extract a lot of good information from how I look at things. It's maybe a little different than most others, but it's also very simple and straightforward too. But keep in mind that I have a good foundation of understanding. I've been doing this for a very long time, and in my trading academy, for example, I teach you the mentality of being a good trader, not just the TA as well, because I think a lot of people forget that they'll trade on a bad day, that they'll revenge trade. There's a lot of different things you want to try to avoid, and those are things I like to try to teach. Also, structuring your trade too. If you don't know how to structure your trade effectively in this market, you're going to get wrecked. That's a big part of why people have trouble, because they don't know how to set their trailing stop losses and their profit targets. Those are all things I provide to you in my signal group. I send out signals for every single trade that I take. It's fully automated. Check that out in your own time. All right, once again, link in the description below, CryptoCache.tech. I look forward to getting to know you better. Have a great rest of the day. Thanks for watching.